recording is on.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to LisaBug Mind Body Blend, where we fuse together a few mind body formats. Today, we're going to be primarily using ballet bar work as well as Pilates. And I've been kind of upping the strength training the last few classes. So I have two different sizes of hand weights. I have my 5s and my 8s. So I'm going a little heavier today for some of the work. Also, if you have a yoga block with you, we're going to be using this a little differently today to do some calf raises and to be able to also lower the heels down a little bit lower than parallel neutral to get a stretch at the bottom. So if you have your block, that's great. If you don't have a block, if you have a pretty thick hardcover book, in a little encyclopedia or something like that, Gray's Anatomy, I don't know, you might be able to use a book in place of a block. If you don't have either one of those, then you can do those calf raises right flat on the floor and still get a great benefit for those. So let's start just with our mat, nice clear with the space as we begin to warm up a little bit and just check in, see how our bodies are doing today. Take those feet out into nice wide Wuchi. Take a nice big inhale, sweep the arms down. And then as you exhale, side bend over to the right. Big inhale, sweep down. Exhale to the left. And always with LisaBug classes, you are going at your own pace and taking any modifications that you might need for your body today, as we are all a little different when we wake up in the morning. Let's do 2 more of those on each side. So we're sinking into the legs to warm up those quads and glutes. Warming up through our shoulders and our sideways, our lower back, all along the spine. And it just feels great to stretch first thing in the morning. 1 more each side. Big breath in. And exhale. Last one here. And lower those arms down. Soften your knees a little bit. Start to shift your body weight to the right side and the left side. Shoulders roll back. Abs engaged. Now this arm becomes a bigger sweep. Palm faces in towards your body. Thumb is up. Begin to rotate the body, gazing over the shoulder behind you. Bottom arm begins to sweep under as we come into a version of cloud hands. Now allow this to be really centering for you today, very meditative. Bringing your awareness internally into your body. Removing any distractions from the outside world. And 1 more each side. And then come to center. Inhale. Pull energy up. Flip the palms and exhale. Breathe in. And breathe out. Now try to do this movement without elevating your shoulders up. And sometimes when we lift our arms up, we have a tendency to hunch the shoulders. So keep a connection in those lat muscles into the back. This time, come up, flip the palms, press above the head, open, sink down, pull, breathe in, flip the palms, stretch, and exhale. Just notice if you're feeling any discomfort in any joints today so that you can Focus on modifying any exercises you need if you feel sore in your knees or your lower back or your hips. Now this time, as we bring those arms up, just the right hand presses to the ceiling, the left hand presses down as we move away from each other. Side stretch. Open back out, lower down, scoop. Left palm goes up, right palm presses down, push away. And again, scoop in. Right palm goes up, left palm pushes away, and side bend. And lower. Let's go one more each direction. Inhale, right palm up. Push away, separating the sky and the earth. One more time, the left palm presses up, right palm down. And then just lower those arms back down. One last breath, just scoop in both palms up and lower down. Now sink into the legs. We go down and up, down and up. So I want to start to get the heart rate up just a little bit so we feel the vitality of our cardiovascular system as we're strengthening in the legs. Looking for good alignment. As we move into bar training, this is the wide second position. Now keep it low and pulse, pulse, pulse. Take breaks whenever you need to at home. So if you're feeling really challenged, or if you find you're losing your form and alignment, I want you to come up out of that position and take a break. Abs zipped up. Shoulder blades down and back. Nice. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, down and hold, stay. Turn to your right and twist, just hold a nice rotation. Look way back behind you over your shoulder. And then reverse that rotation, twist, look way behind you over that left shoulder. Come back to the center as we move into standing cat, which is tipping your tailbone back behind you, creating a little arch in your back. And standing cow, we scoop the belly, look toward your abdomen, curving your tailbone under. And we'll do that with a nice rhythmic pace. So breathe in, cow. Breathe out, cat. Breathe in and breathe out. So you're tilting your pelvis forward and back, anterior and posterior tilts. 4 more with the breath. And 3. Let go of any tension in that lower spine. 2. 1 more. And hold your cat stretch and roll all the way up. Finish with a nice sweeping arm circle. Forward, back, down. Interlace your hands behind your back and stretch. So we'll be coming into our strength training. So we'll pick up hand weights. And I'm going to start with a heavier pair. I have my 8s with me today. If you have a heavier pair, this will be great as we're working big muscle groups. Bring the feet together in first position. So the toes turned out, heels touching. We step out, plie to the right, plie to the left. Out, close, out, close. Good. So you decide how wide you step how low you go into those legs. Nice job. Just getting used to the lower body movement first before we add the arms. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now step out, step together, and press the arms up, out, up. Overhead presses, working triceps and shoulders. If your weight's too heavy, switch, or you can hold on to one weight between both hands. Good job. 5 to go. 4, 3, 2. I'm adding on. Step out, squat, press up, hold, tricep extension back. Step out left, up, tricep, down, up, behind the head. Close into first, toes turned out. Good. Step, press, back. Lots of muscle groups working here. You need to take out any layers. Feel free to do that. 5 more reps. 4 more. Stay with me if you can. Up, back. Good. 3. And back. Nice job. 2. 1 more. Just lower the weights right to your chest and rest. Nice job. Separate your feet to parallel. You can be tight together or hips distance apart. Hinge forward so the weights are right to your kneecaps. Pull back 2 counts and lower down 2 counts. Pull back and lower. Squeeze shoulder blades. So we're in a little tiny baby squat, a baby deadlift with a little bit more bend in the knee. 4 more slow, pull, squeeze. Excellent. 3. And 2. 1 more time, pull back and come all the way up. I'm going to give you the option to do these standing on one leg in a warrior 3 position. If you need a chair for balance, you can set one of your weights down and hold onto your chair with one hand for this exercise. So those weights come down to the knee, stay on your right foot, step your left foot back, lift it off the floor, point your toe if you can. Pull back and down. Now you can also tap your big toe to the floor behind you. But we're stabilizing with that front leg in that one-legged squat or one-legged deadlift. Nice and smooth. If you're holding the chair for balance, you're just working one arm at the moment, and we'll be able to go over to the other side. Last 5. Squeeze back. Balance, core stabilization, upper body work, and lower body stabilization. 2 more. When those muscles start to fatigue, we start to lose balance. 1 more time. Pull up and rise together. Ooh, shake out that standing leg a little. I felt that in that supporting hip. Okay, let's do the other side. So if you're using the chair, you can switch your weights into the other hand. Tap your toe behind you. Find your balance, standing knees bent. Pull the weight. Up, 2, down, 2. Pull up. Now as best as you can, try to square your hips off. so that your right hip isn't rising up too high, to have a nice level position. Usually our mind body blend class is done barefoot, so really feel all four corners of your foot pressed into the mat here. Exhale to pull the arms back. 5 more reps. Back big toe can tap the floor for a little bit of help with balance. Spine is neutral. Make sure you're not bent over at the waist. You're hinging from your hip joint. 2 more. Last one. Pull back and rise up. All right, shake out those legs one more time. Release your weights down to the floor. And I mentioned we're going to be doing some calf raises with an optional block. So if you have your block, bring it down onto the floor. It's its lowest position. You can use your chair for balance or a wall. Step the balls of your feet onto your block and drop your heels down and get a little stretch. A nice long spine. Now, if you want to do some extra resistance with this, you can also pick up a weight in one hand and hold onto your chair just with one hand for added resistance. Now, releve, up, drop, up, drop, up, drop. If you don't have your block, maybe a nice thick hardbound book will work. Or you can do it just flat on the floor. You just won't get quite as much range of motion to drop those heels down. Good. Feet are parallel. Rise and fall. Last 10. 9. Sometimes we forget about our calf muscles. And we work a lot on our upper body, on the upper legs, like our hamstrings, glutes, and quads, but not as much on the calves. 2 more. Hold a stretch. We're going to do 2 more sets. Your option is to do both legs again, or to stand on your right foot only. Your left foot can just trail behind you, or you can wrap it behind your ankle, so you're nice and engaged here. Lower your right heel down, and we lift. 1, and down. 2, 3. If you're holding onto the chair, try not to bend over. Still keep your spine nice and long. There's 7 and 8. 8 more repetitions. Up. Oh, I'm feeling that burn. 7. All the way up. 6. Drop the heel. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. Hold a stretch. Heel is down. Oh, wow. A little bit of burn there. All right. So let's switch. If you're still on both legs, you can do a third set from both feet, or stand on your left foot. Let your right leg trail behind, or wrap the ankle or foot behind the ankle. Hold a stretch to start. So feel that muscle really lengthening. Nice posture. We have 16 reps. Let's take it up. 1, drop. 2, drop. Great work for your ankle stabilizers, which helps us with balance. If we're going out for a hike and we're on an uneven surface, walking up through the park. 8 more. Lift. 7. Way up. 6. Drop down. 5. You might feel this burn all the way up into your glute. And last one, hold that stretch down. Ooh, yes. All right, now if you want, you can choose to stay on your block for the next sequence. I'm going to go ahead and remove it. and come to parallel position. So your big toes are touching as well as your heels if you can. So legs are tight together, and lift those toes up, hold them up, and as you bend your knees forward, your body's gonna come straight down and up. So we do this in ballet bar classes. We keep a nice neutral spine. We stay up on the balls of the feet. We do a little baby squat. So this is gonna put the work really intensely into the quads. If it bothers your knees, you can make these small. Adjust your range of motion, or you can set your heels down. Now take it down to the bottom and pulse, pulse, pulse. So we're up off the heels to fire those calves. The body isn't bending forward, so it shouldn't look like this. You're straight up and down. Using that chair for balance. Last 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, press all the way up. Drop your heels down. Step your right foot back and stretch your calf into a lunge. And step that back foot in. Step your left foot back. Press your heel down. Nice calf stretch. And then step your feet together. Alternating back stepping lunges. So right foot steps back, drop down, up, close together. Left foot back, down, up, close together. And I'm just placing my fingertips on the chair, but if you're ready to let it go, arms can reach out in front of you or by your side. Step back, drop, up, together, back, drop, up. Nice posture, so really try not to bend forward at the waist. Shoulders stay over the hips. We have 4 more on each leg, 8 reps. Right foot, down, up, close. Left foot, down, up, close. Here's 3. And 4. 4 more. You can make these little baby lunges if you want, but I want you to make sure you take a big step back. We have 1 more on each leg. Back, drop, and switch, and rest. Arms are down. Picking up weights, we're going with a little bit lighter workload to work our shoulders. So I'm going to give myself space off the right side of my mat because I'm just going to be stepping out to the right. From first position, we'll open our arms into a side shoulder raise and close. Now, if this bothers your shoulder, there's a lot of other options. You can do an upright row. You can do a bicep curl. So I want you to make the arm movements wherever you want to be. So we have a lateral shoulder raise option. We have an upright row option. We have a bicep curl option. And you pick among those, you can mix and match. All right. I want to add the legs. Step out to the right as you open. Drop down. Close in. Out, drop down. So here's your upright row option. Here's your bicep curl option. You choose. So not all of us have not the strength in the shoulders, but the mobility, or we have shoulder injuries. So if this shoulder raise is bothersome to you, maybe just take that bicep curl or the upright row. Last 4, stepping out with the right foot. close, and 3, and close. 2 more. One more time. Close in, roll the shoulders up, back, and down. Now if you need to give yourself more space on the left side of your mat, step overs. We're stepping out wide with that left foot, and we go out and close. You have a front raise option as well. If you want to lift your arms straight forward. So experiment with the weights, the exercises that work best for you. So as we step out, we're bracing with the leg that stays on the floor. So actually that's the primary working leg because it's always grounded into the mat. It's never lifted up off the floor, losing some type of workload or stabilization. Awesome job. You've got 5 reps. Big step out. 4, and close. 3. Good job, everybody. 2. 1 more. And close and rest. Okay, staying in that first position, we're going to either be doing an upright row for shoulder problems or overhead press if this feels okay for your body. Now our challenge with these is to balance. So let's pick up the right foot, knee is up and down. If you need a chair for balance, we're going to be doing both sides, so you can set one of your weights down and hold on to the chair with the other hand. Now, final option is to extend the leg into that little développé and lower it down. Knee up. Développé means to open up in French, and it requires some nice balance here. Let's get 4 more on this leg. Remember, you've got bicep curls or upright rows if pressing above the head doesn't feel okay for you. 1 more. And rest. So if you held onto your chair, you're going to switch the weight to your other hand and hold on the chair with the other hand so you can balance. We're here. Press and down. Now you can also change the plane of motion. So you can bring your elbows in a little bit more and press right up from here. Sometimes that feels better on the shoulders. Now your left leg, the knee is up, you're just going to balance. If you're ready to add développé, the knee comes up, the leg extends, and we lower down. Knee up, extend straight, and down. Balance, upper and lower body working. The arms get tired. Place your weights by your side and just do your développé. Try to keep moving if you can. 2 more on this side. Extend. Ooh, last one. And rest those weights. Take a couple shoulder rolls just to ease out any tension. And then we're placing our weights on the sides of our mat, one off to the right side, one off to the left, as we're coming down into some kneeling work. If you need some padding for your knee, just place a little towel or something underneath the knees if you're on hardwood floors with your yoga mat. Okay, as we come down to all fours, we're going to be using the right arm for a tricep kickback. So come on down. Take that weight in your right hand, bring your elbow up, And we go straighten, bend, straighten, bend. Now your option for more core work is to come into spinal balance. So left leg extends back behind you. Hips are level. Exhale, 8, 7, 6, 5. Back foot can be pointed or flexed. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Set that weight down. Bend the knee behind you. Flex your foot and push up to the ceiling, down. Up to the ceiling, down. Now you can take the arm that you just worked, which is your right arm, off the floor and reach it forward. 8, 7, tightening the buttock, pressing that heel to the ceiling. Keep your abs really braced. 3, 2, and 1. Now we'll hold here, option 1. Option 2, if you can catch the ankle behind you, grab hold of it and come into a kneeling bow pose. 2 breaths. 1 more breath. And release, come back to all fours. Left hand grabs the weight. I'm going to spin around so you've got that nice view. So left elbow is up, shoulders are squared, extend the arm, straighten, bend, straighten, bend. Now if this pace doesn't feel right for you, you need to go a little slower. That's wonderful. Next option is to extend your right leg back behind you. Hips are nice and level. 10, 9, really the only thing moving is your elbow joint. 7, try not to swing the arm forward. 6, 5, scoop the belly in, abs braced. 3, 2, and 1. The weight comes down to the floor. We bend the back knee, flexing the foot, and we push up, down, up. This is hip extension, so we're firing the glute. And when we fire it and press up, our hip flexor releases nicely. Option for left arm to reach forward. 7, 6, 5, lifting 4, 3, head neutral, 2, and 1. Now either stay right here or reach back behind to catch the ankle there and come up into your bow pose stretch. 2 breaths. And then release that leg. Come into a plank. Now you can choose whether you're on your hands, on your elbows, on your knees, or on your toes. And we just stabilize and breathe. So check your plank, make sure it's not looking like a down dog with your hips up in the ceiling. We want to keep the pelvis level with the mat. Also check to make sure you're not dropping your hips. That means probably your abdominals are shutting off. So we want them really engaged. Then find your breath. We hold 8 and 7. If you're up off your knees, tighten your thigh muscles. 5, navel to spine. 4, head neutral. 3, breathing. 2, and 1, knees drop, child's pose. So we're going to come from a push-up into a side plank. If you want to use a kneeling push-up, you can. and a kneeling side plank. So taking those hands out, a little bit wider than your shoulders. We'll do one push-up and then rotate into a side plank to one hand. Then come back to your push-up. You'll do one, rotate to the other hand, and open out. Now just doing these at your own pace. If you're not feeling like the push-up is working for you today, you can just alternate your side planks and leave the push-up out. If you want, you can do the push-up from your knees and then come up to your toes and do that side plank lifted. So there's lots of options. I'm not that strong to do a really good push-up from my toes, so I take that kneeling option. Let's do two more on each side for that side plank. Good job, everybody. One more on each side. Last one. And then come back down, drop those knees, take a child's pose. Ooh, those arms are really feeling it. Triceps and shoulders. Okay, we're going to come down to a seated position for some Pilates mat. So have a seat. I like to use a cushion for my tailbone when I'm on the hardwood floor. So feet start flat down, if you can get them to reach the floor. And spine is nice and neutral. We're going to do the 100. So fingertips are forward. You can sit straight up, or we can lean back a little bit to feel the abs start to engage. Now with the 100, you just gently pat your hands down, 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 down. The movement comes from your shoulders, not your elbows, not your wrists. Your arms are long. Then we breathe. In, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. In and out. 4 count breath. In and out. Now, as you keep this going, you can experiment with lifting one foot off the floor. Maybe do a couple rounds of your breath. And then you can set that foot down, and the other foot can lift up. In, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. You can also experiment with both feet off the mat. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. 4 more breaths. In and out. 3 more. Stabilize your spine. Long neck. 2 more. Last one. Breathe in and breathe out. Set your feet back down. Pull yourself up. Open your knees into butterfly. Stretch through. So Joseph Pilates used that as a warm-up. To me, that's a pretty intense warm-up exercise. So I'd like to throw it into the core section. Now we're going to do some Pilates roll downs. If you want, you can use a weight as a counterweight. And you can choose whether to roll all the way back onto your back or just part way down. So if your arms are extended out, the weight acts like an anchor. So when you roll yourself down, then the weight helps you to roll yourself back up. It's that little counterweight. So we're going to curve the spine and roll back, curve and roll up. Now if you say, well, I'd like to go all the way down, so you can give it a try to come all the way down on your back, and then lift that weight above your head, take a stretch, and then as you bring it forward, reach it way out to pull yourself up. Okay, so you decide how far back you go. If you want to add the arms above the head. And we're just going to do these for about 60 seconds. You can also go completely straight legs. Roll back. Sometimes straight legs is easier because you have a little bit more leverage to get yourself up. 30 seconds to go. Slow and controlled. If you're just going here, this is good. This is okay. That's your range of motion today. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release that weight down. Now I'd like you to bring one hand weight with you as you come down onto your back. If you have lower back problems, this little cushion you're sitting on can come behind your pelvis, which will keep your back a little bit neutral when you're in tabletop. So let's take that weight in your right hand. Option to keep your feet on the mat or lift your knees up to tabletop for more core work. So we're going to do a one-arm chest press. Elbow comes out to the side and back to the midline. Out and up. Now, if your weight is pretty light and this feels easy, you can make this chest press a chest fly with a straighter arm. And we open and close. Now, this is an arm exercise for sure, but I want you to think about the primary focus being your core connection. When one arm goes out, your abs really have to brace. Try to push your low back down into the floor. Last 3. And 2. And 1. Set your feet down. Set your weight down. Put your right foot on the floor on your heel. Left leg is in tabletop for a one-leg hip bridge. Pelvis comes up off the floor and down. Up and down. Now your hands can be on your hips so you're not using your arms. And then you can feel if your pelvis is twisting or if it's nice and square. Last 5. Down, working our hamstring and buttocks. 4. Down. Lifted leg can be straight with the toe point. 2 more. Exhale, up and down. 1 more time. And lower down. Okay, we're taking that weight now into the left hand. Feet can stay on the floor or coming into tabletop. One arm chest press. So bend your elbow out to the side. Push it back up to the midline. Out. Press up. This is your option if you have a pretty heavy weight. If it's light, it's a chest fly. Open with a straighter arm and pull it up. This takes the weight further away from the midline of the body, so your core has to really activate. Press your lower back down into the mat. Make sure you're breathing. Last 4. Close. 3. Close. 2. And 1. Close. Lower the feet. Lower your weight. Place your left heel on the mat. Right leg up. Lift the hips up into the bridge and drop. And we're slightly pausing, so it's up and hold and down. Hands can be on your hips. Lift and lower. And up and down. Extended leg if you want, really straighten it and point your toe. Up and down. We have 4 more hip bridges. Lift and lower. 3 and down. Looking for 2. 1 more. Really hesitate at the top. Up and down. All right. Come back to a seated so you can roll yourself over, or you can grab behind your legs and do a little rock and roll and bring yourself all the way up. We're going to start to move through some flexibility. So have a seat with a wide leg straddle stretch. Extending your legs out nice and wide. Get a good opening through your inner thighs. Sit up nice and tall. So some of us are a little bit tight in the hamstrings, yes? And it's hard to sit like this. And what happens is we slump and our tailbone tucks under and it becomes a little bit of a slouch. So if you need to bend your knees, this is great. And sometimes you can roll a little bit of a towel or something under your knees to keep them bent. The spine is nice and long. So we're going to move into the Pilates exercise called the saw. So your arms open as we inhale. Exhale, twist to the left or right side. Inhale back to the center. And now we go to the left. So you can do this movement as it is if you're feeling really tight in your hamstrings and you're having a struggle just sitting straight up. I just want you to inhale as you're coming center and exhale as you're rotating. So the next piece is we add a little bit of a forward bend over the leg we're going to. We reach out and come up, twist, reach out, up, twist. The last piece is that hand that goes behind you turns the palm up, so that frees up your shoulder. So as you twist, the backhand palm turns up, so your shoulder is rotating inwardly. Let's do 2 more each side. And the saw part of the exercise is your pinky fingers sawing off your baby toe. I know, Joseph Pilates had some interesting analogies. And come up to center, relax the arms down, and just walk your fingertips forward any amount until you feel the stretch that feels good for your body. And we'll hold here. So I want you to change this if it doesn't feel okay for you and you're really fighting this stretch. You could maybe come to another butterfly stretch or cross your ankles and sit in forward cross-leg position, or bring your feet together into forward bend. And we'll hold here 3 more breaths. Inhaling deeply, exhaling completely. Stretching those hamstrings, glutes, lower back, and inner thighs. And 1 more breath. Walking the fingertips in, we'll come into mermaid sit. So in Pilates, the mermaid is 1 foot comes in front, it's bent. The other leg goes around to the side. So you're in this little staggered seated position. And we're going to fold our upper body over that front leg to stretch our glute and the hip. This is a modification also for pigeon in yoga. And if you want to slide the back leg further behind you and come into full pigeon, feel free to do that as well as we release the hips. And you can support your head by maybe stacking your fists, relaxing your forehead, or placing a block underneath your forehead as well. And let's take 3 more slow breaths here, nice and generous to fill the lungs and to expand the rib cage. And let your third exhalation inspire you to rise up out of that pose. And then if we take our body back in the opposite direction, we can stretch through the front of this quadriceps. So we can lean back. Some of you might be able to come back onto your elbows. Some of you might be able to lay all the way back onto the mat. I have tight quads, so this is about as far as I can go. And then I feel that tension in the muscle. If that's not feeling comfortable for you, you can sit up a little bit more and grab your ankle and just pull your leg back behind you to stretch that quad and hip flexor. And let's hold 2 more breaths. Last one. And then we'll switch our mermaid to the other side. So the left leg will come around to the front. And the right leg comes around to the side. And our knees are bent about 90 degrees, maybe a little bit more, as we fold the upper body over that front leg first. Ooh, and sometimes you really feel a big difference between one side and another, so take your time. No competition in your body from right to left side. So just find your edge and relax. Try to drop your forehead down to a supported position so there's no tension in your neck muscles or your upper back or your shoulders. And then we find the breath that moves in and out through the nose or in through the nose and out through the mouth. 3 more breaths. And as we exhale that third breath, use your palms to press yourself up. And then start to sink your body in the opposite direction, leaning back to open up that right quadricep. You can also use this as a little bit of a chest expansion. So if you really put your hands behind your body, roll your shoulder blades back together and lift your heart up. And feel a stretch through your pecs and your shoulders. Or remember the option, you can grab your ankle and just pull your leg back behind you. And 2 more breaths, releasing tension in your hip flexor, right in the front of that right hip. And then we'll transition into a downward facing dog just one time. If that's not a position that feels comfortable for you at home, you can come into a forward bend. So we'll tuck the toes underneath, lift the hips up to the sky, and drop the heels down as we're stretching that posterior chain. Your forward bend option is to walk your feet towards you and to hang in ragdoll pose. You can cross your hands over the opposite elbow creases, or you can place your hands right on top of your chair and hold a supported forward bend. Let's take 3 more breaths in our last stretch of the morning. Sinking a little bit deeper with each exhalation. If you're in a down dog, go ahead and start to walk your feet forward so that we all join one another in forward bend. And then let your arms drop. Scoop your abs in, tuck your tailbone under, and begin to roll yourself up 1 vertebra at a time. So you're rounding your back, scooping your belly in. Once your shoulders come up in a line, your head comes up very last. The arms sweep back to create a nice chest expansion. And they circle around to connect above the head. And the thumbs drop into the heart center. I hope you had an amazing workout today. If you joined me a little smidge late online this morning, I have to head over to the Y right away, so I won't be hanging on to chat with you. And also just to remember, no backyard boot camp just this week only on Friday the 1st. Mwah. I love you guys. Have a great rest of the week, and hopefully I'll see you on Thursday in yoga. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful day.